Welcome back to another exciting comic-centered edition of Words, Images, and Worlds, talking about all of the arts, all of the creating, and delighted on this episode to be talking with artist Aaron Bartling. Aaron, thank you for jumping in, joining, and taking a few minutes of time with me.
Yeah, yeah, no, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it. Always happy to hop on here and share any of my experience, and some stories in the industry. So yeah,
Yeah,
thanks for
yeah.
having
Always glad to hear the stories, and I see
me.
some like creative stuff spread out behind you. Is that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got all my crazy art stuff everywhere. So yeah, I feel like my office is usually I try to keep it somewhat clean, and tidy, but I feel like a couple days go by and it's back to being messy and stuff everywhere.
It works. It works. Are you doing like a
Yeah.
Jackson Pollock kind of thing? Are you like painting on the floor there?
No, I have like some prints over here and stuff. So I did some custom shoes too for my daughter. She wanted some white shoes and then to do something with Spider Gwen on there. So I did some custom painted shoes on there. So
That is
yeah,
awesome.
a little
That is
mix of
so cool.
everything. Got some planks over here with got some commissions, just yeah, all kinds of stuff. So
Nice, nice. Now
yeah.
you have worked in a lot of different spaces and you do a lot of cover work, which is no joke. Like you don't put just anybody on the cover, so that's pretty cool things. I'm gonna throw out a couple of titles here. Deja Thoris, if I'm saying that
Yeah,
the right way.
yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Crossover.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Power Rangers,
yeah.
TMNT.
Yeah, lots of TMNT, especially.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so what connected you with comics and art and visual storytelling?
Yeah, so about 10 years ago, I kind of started dabbling more into art. I was doing album art and t-shirts and logos. I was working with metal bands. So I was really into that whole music scene.
Hmm.
And comics was not, that's like the last thing I was thinking about doing. But I wanted to kind of transition. I had just gotten married, and I wanted to transition into something that was a little bit more stable. And so I talked to some friends that were kind of doing the cover art thing or interiors, and they're like, "Hey, have you considered doing cover art? Because it's kind of along the same lines of what you're doing now, especially with the album art. It's still illustration, but it's just in a different format,
Hmm.
size wise." And so that was something I hadn't really considered, but I kind of started looking into it, and I was like, "Man, this looks pretty cool. I think this would be, kind of right up my alley and something I would enjoy doing." And so, I started researching a little bit more about it. I started, reaching out to different people, kind of asking questions, how to get into the industry, what I have to do. And two, the big thing too for me was, working with the bands was great, but just from a financial sense, it's tough working with bands sometimes, especially if they're not very big because they don't have the
Hmm.
biggest budgets. And me
Right.
just getting married, like I was trying to find something that would have a consistent income that was more stable. And everyone I talked to was like, you can make a living in this industry as a cover artist. You can do very well. You can make great money, have a lot of success. You can build a fan base, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, I was like, maybe this is for me. Maybe I should start pursuing this. So kind of what I started to do was I just started with basically fan art. So I would
Hmm.
do fan illustrations. I would just pick some characters that I enjoyed doing. I would do, just fan art, and then I would start posting it in different Facebook groups. And I kind of wanted to just use it as a way to kind of see how people would react to it. Like
Hmm.
what did they enjoy my work? Like, and I think if I was going to get that positive feedback, it would kind of be the catalyst to pushing me further into the industry, and like wanting to pursue that industry and kind of get me excited. And so I started posting, and I was actually getting like some decent feedback and positive feedback, and people were liking what I was posting. So I just kept doing that, and started building like a small portfolio of work. Again, just all like fan art stuff, nothing professional or published. And then my next step was that, like I can't emphasize enough how just amazing social media is. Like the
Hmm.
power of email and social media. If you can utilize it, like absolutely take advantage of it. Because it's not like the old days where you went, door to door and you were knocking on studios doors and showing a physical portfolio. It's like now you can hop on Facebook, you can message somebody, send them 5 different images and a short bio about yourself, and if they like what they see, they'll get back to you. So that's essentially what I did. I
Hmm.
just started reaching out to different publishers, different retailers, gave them a short bio, nothing crazy, just a little bit about myself, and maybe 5 of my best pieces. And that's kind of how it started, man. It just I did that, and then people started reaching back out to me, and they said, "Hey, we have an opportunity coming up for this specific title. For example, Deja Thoris. That was one of the first published covers I had done,
Hmm.
and especially as an aspiring illustrator getting into this industry, there basically I didn't care what the title or character was. I just wanted to do it. I didn't matter
Yeah.
what I wasn't gonna say like I wasn't gonna be picky about it. So yeah, I mean when people started saying, are you interested in doing this? Absolutely, green light, let's do it.
Hmm.
And then yeah, so that's kind of how I got into it. It was just reaching out to people, trying to put myself out there, and being willing to possibly face criticism or negative feedback or um, no's or whatever. So, but I really just to kind of like a little backstory. I worked at UPS before I got into the industry,
Hmm.
and UPS is a great career job. It works for a lot of people, but for me, I couldn't see myself working in a warehouse the rest of my life. That just wasn't what I wanted to do. And I feel like life is so short. We got to
Hmm.
pursue the things that we really love and the passions that we have, because we're here and gone, and it's like if you're not using that limited time that you have to do what you enjoy or what you enjoy and what you love, um, I just feel like it's not living a life fully fulfilled, and so
Hmm.
that was kind of my mindset. It was just that very grind mentality. I'm not going to stop until I achieve and attain what I want to do. And that was illustration, and I didn't care if it was in the comics field, if it was doing book covers, whatever. I knew I just wanted to do something with illustration. That's what I really love to do. And so yeah, hopefully that answers that question.
Hmm. Hmm.
And yeah, that was kind of the inception of kind of how I started to get into it. And honestly, it's been an amazing journey, because once I got in and I started getting a few gigs, it was everything was really positive and everyone loved what I was putting out, and it was just like kind of like the rest is history, to be honest. I just like
Yeah.
had consistent work. I've been doing it since 2019, so like about it was end of 2019 was when I got my first published cover. So about 4 years now I've been doing this. So yeah.
Cool. Cool.
So yeah.
Along the journey, have there been supporters, especially positive people in the industry that have kind of been really helpful in paying it forward and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly like a really humbling experience, this whole thing, just getting into this industry. I think especially when you start hearing things of people, everybody talks, and you hear different things, and there's certain artists that have been trying to get on different titles, or they try to get on, try to work with a specific publisher. And sometimes, like I tell my wife, I'm like, sometimes I feel like I I'm kind of like undeserving, I guess, or something, or I haven't like earned it. It's like you hear stories like, oh yeah, this illustrator or whatever, they worked 10 years to finally get their dream gig or something. And I would be lying if I said that was not the case for me. I think I worked with some of the bigger publishers like right off the bat, and I
Hmm.
had a
Hmm.
lot of awesome retailers that really vested in me, that really believed in me, and really cultivated kind of getting like a good footing in the industry, and presenting me like good titles that they think would be a good fit for my work. And that's like really important too, you know, is like, okay, what are titles that fit your style, kind of your look of art? And yeah, honestly, like I mean, the retailers and the publishers have been amazing, but like truly, I got to give it all back to the fans that I've created or I've cultivated in the last few years, because I wouldn't be in the position I'm in now if it wasn't for the fans, you know. And like people can say, oh, that's cliche or whatever, but it really is. Like I wouldn't be in the spot I'm in now if it wasn't for that support and like, you know, people buying my covers or people commissioning me. Like it all goes back to them. And if I didn't have those fans, you know, then I wouldn't, the retailers and the publishers wouldn't see like you know, how much love I'm getting, and you know, maybe work would slow down, you know. But it hasn't been that way since I started. It's been, you know, full steam ahead, and it's only gotten busier. And so yeah, I truly, you know, I'm just so grateful and humbled by everyone that supported me. So
Awesome, awesome. Well,
yeah.
I mentioned a couple of titles and worlds at the beginning, but any particular kind of crown jewels that you've gotten to work on, and anything that you'd really like to work on that you know of?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the given would be any of the TMNT stuff I've worked
Hmm.
on. That was kind of, you know, the last Ronin was basically you know, the inception or like the door blowing open of getting any kind of reputation, or you know, that was when I got all the accolades and all that kind of stuff. So I think doing anything with TMNT has been amazing, especially last Ronin. That's been awesome.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's kind of the go-to is what like people, you know, if there's a new TMNT title coming up, I usually get a lot of inquiries about it. You know, hey, you know, this new series is coming up. Do you want to work on it? Yeah, let's
Nice.
do it. You know, usually it's TMNT is just kind of like a that's like the easy go-to, yes. And from the retailer standpoint, it's usually an easy moneymaker, you know, because anything turtles usually is going to sell. If it's done well, it's going to sell well, you know.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's been awesome. I'm trying to think what else. I've done a lot of like really cool indie titles that have been great. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. The Power Ranger stuff was really cool to work on. Um, I had a blast working with Garrett Gunn doing the Good Boy. He's had a lot of success with the Good Boy series.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
Good Boy has been really fun to work on. Did a little bit of work with DC. I The last cover I did with DC was Batman cover. That was for New York Comic Con, not last year, but the year before, which was really cool. And I guess, you know, if I was going to work on anything, so I've worked with every publisher out there. I've worked with pretty much every single one. The only one I haven't worked with yet is Marvel. So
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Marvel is they are, you know, it's the big two. It's, you know, you got Marvel, DC, and then you got Image right below them. So
Hmm.
working with
Hmm.
everybody else, but Marvel is one of those like the monsters that, you know, everyone tries to get in with. Usually it takes quite a good amount of time to get in with them. From what I hear, their approval process is really tedious. It's really rigorous, and you know, they're looking for a lot of different things.
Hmm.
And so thankfully, you know, kind of going back to what I said about, you know, people have really vested in me and really wanted to see me have a lot of success, you know. And so I've had different companies, like specifically SMZ, who they manage Kevin Eastman, you know, and a lot of the Turtle guys, but they've reached out to Marvel and I'm kind of in this weird. I'm actually in their approval queue right now, so um, it's not a yes and it's not a no, you know, which is a cool thing. So I'm
Hmm.
just kind of in this weird limbo stage where I haven't been fully approved yet to do a cover, but I haven't been told no, and so. But you know, it's okay. That's like on my bucket list. You know, that's something I want to do. But in the meantime, it's been a blast just doing all the, you know, all the other titles I've been able to work on, and not trying to like super rush it, you know, just trying to enjoy the journey. I've only been
Yeah.
in the industry for a few years now, so it's like, um, it would be, I guess, kind of like ignorant, maybe naive to think like, oh, I deserve a Marvel title right away. Although like it's funny because people are constantly, different fans of mine are constantly like, when are you getting on a Marvel title? Can't wait to buy, a Spider-Man cover from you or whatever, which is cool.
Hmm.
It's awesome to hear that. That definitely like gets me fired up and excited to eventually get to that point. I'm trying to think. I guess another thing too, I would say that's been kind of exciting of another possibility is uh, I'm sure people in the industry have seen it going around because it kind of went like viral. But this whole Spawn challenge that Todd
Hmm.
McFarlane's doing right now, he's doing the Spawnuary or Spawn challenge on Instagram. So it's like you have like regular Spawn, you got Gunslinger, you got Scorched, and then you can do any villain. So all these categories, I feel like social media has just been getting blasted by all these different amazing submissions from all these different artists, which it's been really, really cool seeing all of January, all these like really, really just incredible stuff. And so yeah, I mean, I did a piece for it. I did a gunslinger for my entry, and yeah, I'm just fingers crossed I can get it. Like I think he's announcing all the winners probably in the next week or so. I think he just
Yeah.
put out an update, and so I think yeah, in the next week he'll probably announce like who's won it. So I mean, hey, if that works out, I've been telling people like if you get a Spawn cover, I think that's the equivalent of getting in with Marvel, to be honest, because Todd is so strict and so rigorous on who he approves to do a Spawn cover. So if you get in with that, it's not like a typical image title where it's just like anybody can just submit and they get approved. It's a pretty big deal if you get a Spawn cover. And what's cool about it is if I do get chosen, then that opens up doors and opportunities for future Spawn covers, which would be amazing. Just to have that in with Todd and have that in with Image. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I would be just as excited about that as doing a Spider-Man or a Daredevil cover or whatever. So yeah, so that's kind of on my horizon, and what I'm shooting for next. But yeah, I mean, I've just been enjoying the journey and what I've had in front of me already. So
Cool,
um,
cool. And I'm
yeah.
gonna shout out the shirt. Love the shirt.
Oh
The
yeah,
the
yeah.
reason.
I was like, you know what? What should I wear right now? I'll rock the Michelangelo.
That's
The
right.
team.
That's right. Oh, well, last official question, and that is, where can people go to learn more and to see your work?
Yeah, so I'm pretty active on Facebook. Not as active on Instagram, but I do have an Instagram. I feel like as I say these things, I always like I'm telling myself you need to post more on Instagram. I'm
Right,
not as
right.
active on there. But yeah, on Instagram it's Aaron Bartling Art. You can just search it; it'll pop up. And then Facebook is just Aaron Bartling. And then I do have a website, it's aaronbartlingart.com. So you can check out that. And then on the website, I have a store. If you want to get anything signed or remarked or graded, you can submit it through the website. Um, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But yeah, I got a lot of new work coming out this year. It's going to be, I think it's 2024 is going to be a really, really cool year. Have a lot of cool projects lined up. Um, but yeah, I appreciate you guys' support. I appreciate, everyone that's followed me up until now. And yeah, and thanks for having me on the show, man. It's been fun to chat for a few minutes and kind of
Yeah,
give my little bit of my story. So appreciate
yeah,
it.
yeah. Glad to have you back anytime, and thanks for the time. And wishing you a very happy Sponuary. I hope it wraps up
Yeah.
well with a nice, favorable vote in your favor.
Yeah, no, and I will say, I mean, if I don't win it, it's okay. I was just happy to at least contribute to it, and give it a shot. Why not try it? So,
Absolutely,
but
absolutely.
yeah,
Well, Aaron, thank you so much for the time, and glad to be in touch.
yeah, yeah. Thank you.